Virgo, what is going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Virgo love reading. Today we're going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in October 2025. So let's get started and let's get one card for what's the mutual point of interest between Virgo and their romantic person of interest in October 2025. That was easy. What's going on with you, Virgo? It has been a minute since I've seen you. I moved from Texas back to Ohio about 3 months or so ago. Not too long after that, I got incredibly ill. Thought I was going to die for a minute. At least I felt like that. I've lost a little over 50 pounds while I was sick. I'm just now starting to feel about 85%. This is the first week I've felt like doing much of anything. So I'm just now getting back to it. I think I've put maybe 15 pounds back on in the past few weeks here. Hopefully I'm moving in the right direction now. So let's take a look here at what's going on with your energy in this connection in October 2025. Let's get 3 cards for what's going on with Virgo as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between them. October 2025. Let's see what we got here. What's going on with your person, Virgo? What's going on with Virgo's romantic person of interest as it relates to Virgo and the connection between them? Do we have one flip over in here? That felt a little funny. I guess not. Let's go one more time. Let's get one more for Virgo's person of interest. Okay, that was easy. All right. The overall energy of this reading, 8 of Cups. This is Pisces energy. This is emotionally detaching from something, physically detaching from something, and walking away. The person in the card is walking away from 8 full cups of love. And they're doing that because they believe there's something better out there for them. This is about walking away from what you have to go down a brand new path in search of the 9th and the 10th cup, the personal happiness and wish fulfillment, the 10 of Cups, like the combined together emotionally thing where everyone's pouring their love into each other equally, everyone's fully loved and happy and appreciated. This is energy that's probably affecting both of you. So I don't know yet whether this is telling me that your person emotionally detached and then walked away to go see if the grass was greener on the other side of the fence. If it's not that, it's trying to give you some advice to let you know that, hey, 8 cups is the best you've ever gotten here with this person because 8 cups is all they're capable of. And if you want your 9th cup and your 10th cup, you're going to have to make the conscious decision to walk away from what you have to go down a new path to go find your 9th and 10th cup. We'll see how that plays itself out. But right behind that 8 of Cups energy, we're going backwards a step to the 7 of Cups. So we're regressing in emotional energy. This is Scorpio energy of options and choices and confusion about the options and choices. There's a lot of different cups here. There's a lot of different ways this thing could play itself out. There's a lot of emotions involved. And really this card is about not wanting to pick the wrong cup and make some kind of a mistake here. Excuse me, but this is an illusionary kind of an energy. It's hard to tell which cup I should pick. It's hard to tell which thing in which of these cups is actually real or not. It's also about like emotions starting to cloud judgment, clouding decision making, making things difficult and confusing. Options and choices. And right behind that energy, we have the 3 of Swords, Libra energy of heartbreak and sadness, usually from a third energy. That third energy is not always a romantic third party, although it can definitely be that. Sometimes that third energy is working too much. Sometimes it's partying too much. Sometimes it's just geographic distance or an addiction or maybe even a drinking problem. Sometimes the 7 of Cups can represent intoxication and having my judgment clouded because I'm intoxicated. That third energy can be a number of different things. It's just something that's not specifically you, not specifically your person. It's some other thing that's involved here. Well, it's not looking so hot right there, but that's the gist of what it looks like this is going to talk to me about. This mutual point of interest is shared energy that affects both of you in some way here in October 2025, Virgo. It doesn't always affect you the same way. Sometimes they do this and then you feel the consequences, or even vice versa. Sometimes they say or do something and it makes you feel or act this way, or vice versa. Sometimes it's legitimately something external that's affecting both of you. But that shared energy is the Five of Wands. This is Leo energy. Fives are conflict and wands are about desires. So this is an internal conflict, a conflict in my desires. This can represent that a piece of you wants this one thing and another piece of you wants pretty much the opposite of that. There's probably multiple different parts of you pulling in different directions, kind of playing this internal battle of tug of war and inside of your desires, inside what it is that you want. It's really fragmented kind of an energy. Because it's in the shared energy that's affecting you both. This could even mean that they want this thing and you want pretty much the opposite of that. And instead of both of you pulling in the same direction, you're kind of playing tug of war against each other. So I'm going to clarify that. Tell me about this Five of Wands. Why is that the shared energy that's affecting Virgo in their person? Look at how everything is trying to get away all at once. There's a lot going on below the surface here. Yeah. A lot going on below the surface. Okay. You. Whew. Well. This one's making me hot. I just got really hot all of a sudden. I feel like I'm about to start sweating bullets here. Underlying this internal conflict kind of an energy, Ace of Swords. This is the sword of truth. It's the sword of victory. It's the sword of clarity. It's the sword you use to make decisions with. The Latin word that the word decision comes from literally means to cut off. So when you have all these other options, like I saw here with the options and choices, this is about cutting all those options away one at a time until there's only one left. It can also be the sword you would use to sever a relationship or cut something or someone out of your life. Right behind that sword of truth, I have the Ten of Cups, Pisces energy. This is most people's goal in terms of love and relationships. It's the happily ever after card, the happy fairy tale romance, the happy fairy tale love connection, happy fairy tale ending. This is the card that gets more people in trouble than any card in the whole tarot deck because we all want that happily ever after so bad. This is the card that leads us to ignore the truth. Notice it's behind the truth here. This is the card that will make us sweep the red flags under the rug and ignore things that we shouldn't ignore. Because if any of that stuff's true, then this happily ever after thing can't be true. And I want this to be true. So, like I said, this card, it gets us in trouble because a lot of times it leads us to delude ourselves, to lie to ourselves, to ignore things that we shouldn't ignore in hopes of getting to that. Right behind that Ten of Cups, we have the Ace of Wands. This is a passionate new beginning in passion and desire. The wand is the phallic symbol of the tarot deck, so it represents the male you-know-what and using it to do you-know-what and sexual energy and all that fun stuff. Looking very peculiar here. Yeah, behind the wand, we have the Knight of Wands, second fastest moving knight in the deck. This is rushing forward and taking this rapid, passionate action on something that there's a lot of passion and desire for. This card gets labeled the player of the tarot deck a lot because it can represent that person who's running back and forth between two different people, playing two different people. It can represent someone who comes rushing in all passionately and tells you everything you want to hear in order to get what they want. But then just as quickly they rush off somewhere else all passionately and they're playing that same game somewhere else too. At the minimum, this can be someone who is non-committal in the sense of they can't stay fully committed to what they say they want. Like 1 minute, they're super gung-ho about something. They're doing and saying all the right stuff, moving in the right direction, but then suddenly there's an about face and they go some different direction because they change their mind. So they don't always stay fully committed to what they say. I'm getting called back to the Ten of Cups and the truth about the Ten of Cups. I know this is what everyone wants, and there are plenty of people who don't watch tarot because they're looking for truth. They watch tarot because they're looking to have their fantasy validated. They're looking for someone to tell them what they want to hear and tell them that, yes, this is the perfect connection and it's the happily ever after and it's everything you've ever dreamed about. It does not look like that so far, especially with what I'm seeing here and some of the stuff I'm seeing in their energy. If you zoom, if you really want the truth, which is what I'm here for, that's why my channel is called Unknown Truth Tarot, not Unknown Fantasy Tarot. If we zoom out and like emotionally detach from whatever your situation is for a second, would you be watching a tarot love reading if you actually had the 10 of Cups? If you actually had that happily ever after where you're pouring yourself into them and they're pouring themselves into you with every bit as much effort as you're pouring into them, you wouldn't be here watching a tarot love reading because you would have absolutely zero need for a tarot reading. You would have zero need for guidance in your relationship. You would have zero need for someone to like help you figure out what's really going on in your connection. You wouldn't need what I'm doing. You would have zero use for it if you really had the 10 of Cups. That's what's underlying this internal conflict that's affecting both of you here. Granted, a piece of you probably does want to believe this is the 10 of Cups, but there's some other stuff here that's telling me that another piece of you believes something different. When I clarify that 5 of Wands, I get the 7 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the High Priestess. The 7 of Pentacles is Virgo energy. This is a period of time for one of two reasons. The first reason, this can be a period of time where there's this pause to reflect, excuse me, and take stock of the relationship, take stock of this situation that you're finding yourselves in. And it's about trying to decide, is this ever going to turn into the 10 of Pentacles that I really want? Maximum stability, abundance, prosperity, the combining together of two people or two families and all their assets and resources to build a life together. Is this ever going to turn into that? Is this worth me continuing to invest my time, effort, and energy into this? Or is this a spot where maybe it's not going to pan out the way I want it to, and maybe it's time to cut my losses and move on? The other period of time that this could represent is the seeds have already been planted on something. So if you think about, like, if you have an apple seed and you go plant that right now, you will not wake up tomorrow with apples. It doesn't work that way. There's a big lag time from the time the seed gets planted on something until it's fully grown and fully developed and ready to harvest it so you can get something out of it. So it can represent that lag time where seeds were already planted on something and we're just kind of like waiting on it to pan out. Next, we have the 6 of Wands. This is Leo energy of recognition. Now, sometimes this would be you getting recognized for something, or your person getting recognized for something, like the spotlight being shined on you, getting patted on the back. More often than not, this represents coming to some sort of a recognition about something, like you having the aha moment, having like the new idea, the new piece of truth showing up, and then whatever gets recognized, forward movement happens after that. We could be waiting on successful forward movement here. Maybe there's a conflict internally because it might not be moving as fast as you want. Yeah, it's probably not moving as fast as you want. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but they got the slowest knight in the deck, the Knight of Pentacles, as their final card. Central to these clarifiers for the internal conflict is the 7 of Swords. This is Aquarius energy. This is lying, cheating, deception, sneaking around behind someone's back, trying to get away with something that I shouldn't be trying to get away with. There's some recognition about that type of behavior. That might be what this truth is talking about. Again, back to the overall energy. We got somebody here emotionally detaching and walking away to see if the grass is greener somewhere else. Options and choices. A third energy causing some sort of heartbreaking sadness. Next clarifier for the 5 of Wands is the Knight of Swords. This is the fastest knight in the deck. This is about rushing forward and taking this like really decisive action on something. Usually something that I didn't think through all the way first. This is not the dude who reads the instruction manual. This is the person who just goes They take the action without thinking about it, and they don't bother to think about it until after it's already too late. So it can be really spur of the moment, spontaneous, impulsive, reckless kind of an energy, and it's tied directly to this Seven of Swords, lying, cheating, deception, sneaking around kind of an energy. Final clarifier for the Five of Wands is the High Priestess. This is she who knows. She knows everything. She sees everything. She sits in front of the veil of consciousness. So she's got access to all the information you and I as humans don't have access to. The problem with her is she doesn't always tell us everything. Sometimes there's stuff we're just not meant to know. Sometimes there's stuff we don't need to know until it's time for us to know, at which point she clues us in through our intuition, through gut feelings, through signs, synchronicities, a dream that has a message in it. It's some form of an internal knowing where you don't have any actual way of knowing. You can feel it. The other problem with her is 9 times out of 10, your intuition is going to tell you something that you don't want to hear. It's going to tell you something that you don't want to be true, like I did with the 10 of Cups probably here. And because we don't have any of the facts to support it, we don't have any proof, it's really hard for most people to listen to their intuition. Most people try to shove it off to the side and ignore it, especially when it's telling us stuff that we don't want to hear. That's the shared energy here. I will freely admit to you, it is not uncommon at the early stage of this that I don't fully understand exactly what this is trying to tell me yet, although it feels like I have a pretty decent handle on it already. Either way, I'm going to come back to this as I go through your energy, Virgo, because then I can see how it applies to you. I will come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I can see how it applies to them. That's the shared energy, your energy in this connection for October 2025, Virgo. Your first card is the most important. You get the 10 of Pentacles. Central for your energy is the 9 of Wands. And your final card is the Sun. The 10 of Pentacles is Virgo energy. We already alluded to that when we talked about the 7 of Pentacles. Is this ever going to grow into the 10 of Pentacles I want? Maximum stability, abundance, prosperity, the combining together of two people, two families, all their assets and resources, building a life together. I get this card for people either when they're married or engaged or living together or going down the path toward combining their lives together. Tell me about the 10 of Pentacles. Why is that the first card here in Virgo's energy? Okay, I just had 2 cards flip upright, one at a time. Flipped up, showed itself, went face down, and didn't come out. The first one was the Lovers. The second one was Judgment. The card that shot off the table, Queen of Cups. Let me dig these guys out here. What do we have? Where are you hiding? I know there was another one. Where did you go? Maybe I missed it in here. I know another one flipped up. I saw it. Okay, maybe not. That's very peculiar. Aha, I did see it. The 2 cards that flipped up, the Lovers, that card used to be called the Choice, so it represents the interconnectedness between people and how one person's choices affect the other. It can also represent a choice about the love connection. It can even represent a choice between more than one lover. Judgment is the most powerful decision card, so it represents passing a final verdict and judgment on something. In a relationship, that would either be calling it dead and over, or it would be about resurrecting it. It's one of the two. We're clarifying the 10 of Pentacles, and underlying that energy is the Hermit. This is the Virgo Major Arcana card. This is a card of withdrawal and isolation. Sometimes this would indicate the communication shuts down and there's no talking. If there is still communication, it's probably way different than it used to be, like fewer and farther between. I get this card a lot when someone gets ghosted, like someone just abruptly leaves, which might be happening here with this Knight of Swords. I got the 8 of Cups, the detaching and walking away to see if the grass is greener. I get this card a lot when someone doesn't get closure from an ending that happens. At its core, this card is about being forced inside yourself, like using the light of the star here in the lantern to shine down in the shadows of yourself. It's about looking inside yourself and trying to figure out what adjustments do I need to make to me so that I can move forward the right way. The thing about that is it's not like a voluntary energy. We don't just wake up and go, oh, it's nice outside today, I think I'll do some soul searching. Like, this is something forces us into that. It's about soul searching, deep inner reflection, deep contemplation, trying to figure out what to do moving forward from here. I have the Sun right behind it. This is a Leo Major Arcana card. This is the happiest card in the deck. It's happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. Really hard to get a better card than that in a relationship reading when that's what it's talking about. This could be you're trying to do some soul searching about happiness and what makes you happy. The other meaning to the Sun is it's the card that comes right after the moon in the sequence of the major arcana. When the moon's out, it's dark outside. That can represent something being hidden in the dark, some secret being kept. And the next step is the sun comes up and now it's not dark anymore. And all that stuff that was being hidden gets illuminated. It gets exposed and I can see it. And now I've got to do some soul searching about that. I've got the Nine of Cups right behind it, which is Pisces energy. This is a card of personal happiness and wish fulfillment. It's also one step backwards from that Ten of Cups that we saw previously, that combined together emotionally, where we're both pouring ourselves into each other and everyone's loved and happy. This is a step back from that. This is about being emotionally single, emotionally by myself, emotionally independent. In the positive sense, this could mean self-love. It could mean that I don't need this external person to show up and, quote, make me happy, because I understand happiness comes from inside myself. And if you think about that logically, happiness is nothing more than a chemical that we make in our body, and it has a specific effect on our brains. So you can't make me happy because you're not connected to the endocrine system in my body. You can't make those chemicals in my body. Only I can do that. Now, what we tend to do is a person is around us while we're creating those happiness chemicals. And because they're here, we misunderstand and we give them credit for, quote, making us happy, when in reality, we made those chemicals ourselves and we're just kind of blaming it on them. So this would be like, I don't need the external person to make me happy. I don't need the external person to make me whole or to make me feel worthy of love, because I already am whole. I already am worthy of love. I love myself. So that's the positive sense. The negative sense of this card is it can be someone who takes that personal happiness thing a little bit too far. This can be someone who's smug, self-centered. It's all about me, myself, and I, and then me some more. My personal happiness is more important than your personal happiness. I've got the happiest card in the deck and personal happiness here, and in front of it is you being forced inside yourself to do some soul searching about happiness. I see this a lot for people when what they have done is they have attached all of their happiness to an external person, and then when that external person goes away, they take your happiness with them. And then what the hell are you supposed to do? You get forced to do soul searching at that point. And that's always a mistake. Like, everyone's goal is that 10 of Cups, and that's actually the incorrect goal. The real goal is supposed to be emotional fulfillment in and of yourself, being happy and content in and of yourself, not needing the external person. So there's some element of soul searching that you're supposed to be doing related to that. That might be a piece of what this internal conflict is about for you, because someone that you had all your happiness attached to detached emotionally from you, probably physically even, and then walked away because they had other options. When I clarify this 10 of Pentacles, I get the Queen of Cups, the Fool, and the Three of Swords. The Queen of Cups is Cancer energy. This would probably be you having all of this love and emotions for this person. But she's the only character in the tarot deck that has a lid on top of her cup. And she has the lid there as a way to protect her emotions from getting contaminated. She's been hurt before and she doesn't want to get hurt again. So she's kind of like guarding her emotions to protect herself. Now, what she really wants to do is take that lid off the cup and pour her love into someone. She's just guarded and hesitant. Next, I have the Fool, which is the very first card of the Major Arcana, card 0. It's the first card of the whole tarot deck. It represents a new beginning at something. It's usually a new beginning where I don't really know what the steps are. I don't really know what the end result is going to be. I'm just saying, you know what, screw it. I'm going to leap off this cliff and I will figure out how to grow wings on my way down. Like, I'm going to go for it and I will worry about how to do it on my way. It can also represent foolish decision-making, taking unnecessary risks, or even risks outside of the connection. Then I have the Three of Swords. We already saw that 3 cards deep in the overall energy here, right behind the options and choices. This is Libra energy of heartbreak and sadness from a third energy. Central to your energy, Virgo, is the 9 of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy. This is a walled-off, defensive kind of an energy. This is the wounded warrior, and he's been hurt. Hence the wall he's built around himself. It's a defense mechanism. This is how he protects himself so he doesn't get hurt. He's trying to heal so he can get his energy right to take the next step in his journey. So I've gotten 2 cards already in your energy that are about like trying to protect myself so I don't get hurt, trying to keep my cup covered so nothing can get into my emotions and hurt me. Sometimes this card can just represent that there is a barrier in the way for you. Tell me more about this 9 of Wands, please. Why is the 9 of Wands the central energy for Virgo here in October 2025? Let me make sure nothing else flipped there. Okay. Underlying that 9 of Wands, the Knight of Wands. Again, the player of the tarot deck. Very fast moving energy, rushing forward, taking this rapid, passionate action towards something there's passion and desire for. This can be the person who comes rushing in and tells you everything you want to hear so they can get what they want, but then they go somewhere else and run the same game there and they bebop back and forth between 2 people. This can just be someone who starts out fully gung-ho about this and suddenly they have an about face and they go a different direction. So it can be someone who's not fully committed. This could be telling me that the barrier that's actually in the way of this combined together life is someone who keeps changing their mind or who keeps running back and forth between 2 people. Feeling like this is talking about them, and then we get the Ace of Swords right behind that, the Sword of Truth, the Sword of Clarity, the sword you make decisions with, the sword you would use to cut off a thing or a person from your life. And then I get the Queen of Pentacles. This is Capricorn energy. This is usually wife type of an energy. This might actually be you. I've got the 10 of Pentacles as your very first card, combined together life. The Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles build that 10 of Pentacles together. They work together as equals to build that. So this would be wife energy. The King of Pentacles would be husband energy. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you're legally married to this person. Could be. This could just be you're engaged, you live together, you're the other half of that physical combined together life equation. This could be you wanting to be wife material. This could just represent that you're the stable, committed person that they're building their life around. And then I get the Hanged Man, Pisces energy of progress being halted in that regard, no forward movement. Everything is stuck and at a dead standstill. Now, the Hanged Man is hanging upside down because he's trying to look at things from a different perspective than he normally would. He's trying to figure out what has me stuck, what do I need to make adjustments to get unstuck so I can move forward the way I want. We already saw the Hermit. Yeah, that was when I clarified the first column. The Hermit and the Hanged Man are really similar kind of energies because at the core, they're both about trying to figure out what do I do moving forward from here. The key difference is in where their focus is placed. The Hermit is focused inward. He's looking inside of himself for what adjustments do I make about me so I can move forward the right way. And the Hanged Man is looking at things from a different perspective, and things are external to us. So this is a person who's looking outside of themselves for what the problem is. They're not looking at their own role in the situation. And if the problem is external to me, well, then the solution to the problem must also be external to me. So sometimes this is someone who's playing the blame game, where it's not my fault that this is going wrong. It's not my fault that I'm a player. It's not my fault that I brought a third energy into the mix. It's not my fault that I was lying to you and sneaking around behind your back. It's your fault that I was doing that. Or it's this other thing's fault. It's this situation's fault. It's something external's fault, not mine. So it can be the blame game, the helpless victim mentality. This could be telling me that the problem is external to you. It can just be telling me that it's stuck and there is no progress being made toward being wife type of an energy here. Well, when I clarify this Nine of Wands, I get the Nine of Pentacles, the Empress, and Justice. The Nine of Pentacles is Virgo energy. It's one step backwards from this Ten of Pentacles. That's the first card in your energy, the combined together life. This is being physically single, physically by myself, physically independent. I don't need you to show up and physically or financially take care of me. I got that taken care of on my own. Sometimes, especially when I'm seeing the player, when I'm seeing lying and cheating and deception and combined together life and Queen of Pentacles, that's usually not someone who is single. It's probably someone who's presenting themselves in the physical world as if they're single when they're not single. That could be part of the barrier that's in the way of you getting to this final card, this happiest card in the deck. That could be something that's hurt you here. It could be that you have been hurt and now you're in this physically single energy. We clearly don't have the Ten of Pentacles anymore. Next, we have the Empress. This is the mother of the tarot deck. She's always pregnant. She's always giving birth to something. In a relationship reading, she represents the birth of something new. That would be the birth of a new relationship. So we've got this single energy, or at least someone acting single even if they're not, birthing something new. Right beside the Empress is the Fool, taking the blind leap of faith and birthing something new, taking a risk outside of the connection and birthing something new. That's how we get to the Three of Swords. The final clarifier for the Nine of Wands is Justice. This is Libra's major arcana card. This is the most powerful card of balance in the deck. It's about doing the right, fair, just thing. The sword that's in this card is used to sever something, to cut something away that's not in balance, so balance can be restored, and then the right, fair, just thing can happen. This card shows up to point out the fact that something unfair or unjust or unbalanced is going on, and this is the need to correct it. That unfair thing is tied to the birth of something new. That unfair thing is also tied to the Three of Swords, the heartbreak and sadness from a third energy. Final card for you, Virgo, is the Sun, the Leo major arcana. We already saw that at some point, I believe, maybe in the shared energy. This is the happiest card in the deck. Happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. It can also represent the card coming after the moon. So when something's hidden in the dark and a secret is being kept and we got somebody sneaking around trying to get away with something, this could be the sun coming up, the light getting shined on it, getting exposed and illuminated so you can see it now. So tell me more about the sun. Why is that the final card here for Virgo, please? Okay. Underlying the sun is the Four of Swords, Libra energy. This is about taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. It's the minor arcana version of the Hermit. Now, the Hermit isn't a choice. The Hermit is like something happens and it forces you inside yourself to do soul searching. When I saw that, we had the Sun and the Nine of Cups behind it, doing soul searching about happiness and personal happiness. This is a choice. This is choosing to go inside myself and do some thinking to figure out what to do. Choosing to go inside and do some healing. It's a 4, which is a stability energy. It's also a sword, which is a mind energy, a thought energy. So it would be stability of the thoughts, stability of the mind. This is about like, shh, calm down, relax. You're thinking way too much. And when you think a lot and you have all that mental chatter in your mind, it's really hard to hear your internal guidance system with your high priestess that's sitting here in the shared energy. This is instructions to take a pause, to chill out for a minute and go inside yourself and do some thinking about what happiness really is for you. Can't make it up. There's the Hermit right behind it. There's your major arcana card. This is almost feeling like if you don't choose to calm down and intentionally go inside to do some thinking about happiness, something is going to force you to search your soul about that. Yeah, there's also soul searching here tied to the 8 of Pentacles, which is the other Virgo minor arcana card. So with the 10, the 9, and the 8 of Pentacles are your minor arcana cards. And I've got all 3 of them here now. This is the card of work, putting in the work, time, effort, and energy to get what you want, or at the very least being willing to put that work in, that time, effort, and energy in. Doing some thinking about and some soul searching about where you should be investing yourself, your time, effort, and energy into. When I clarify the Sun, the happiness, I get the 9 of Cups again, 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, again, personal happiness and wish fulfillment, Pisces energy. A step backwards from the 10 of Cups. This is being emotionally single. It's sitting right beside the 9 of Pentacles. So there's 2 singles energies in the deck. Both of them are right here in your energy, right side by side in the same row as the person who has all this love to give, but has to keep a lid on top of her cup so she doesn't get hurt. Probably so she doesn't get hurt again. It looks to me like you've already been hurt and now you've kind of been put into this single energy, whether you wanted it or not. Again, though, this is personal happiness. This is supposed to be you being happy and content in and of yourself without needing the external person. This is telling you to take a look and put some work in on what you consider happiness, where you have placed your happiness. Because if you have attached that to something external to you instead of finding it inside yourself, both of these cards reference going inside yourself, because that's where the work needs to be put in. Son of a gun. There's the Sun again right behind that. Your happiness is inside of you, and you need to be putting in work to find that inside of you instead of attaching it to the external person. The next clarifier for the Sun is the 4 of Pentacles. This is Capricorn energy. This is holding on tightly to something and not wanting to let go of it. Clearly, wanting to hold on to happiness and personal happiness. Don't blame you one bit, because all of us want to be happy. The problem is, what are you trying to hold on to? Are you trying to hold on to your own happiness, or are you trying to hold on to the other person because you have all of your happiness tied to them and they have now walked away and gone a different direction with their options and choices, and 3 of Swords, heartbreak and sadness from a third energy? This 4 of Pentacles is sitting right beside the Empress, the birth of something new. And it's in the same row with the Fool, this brand new beginning, birthing something new. These things have already occurred. Normally, when I do this, this first column is something that's already in the past. It's already happened. And the closer I get to the last card, the more and more current the energy is getting. So even though we've got this foolish decision making and taking a blind leap of faith on something new, birthing a new connection, leaving you single here, there's still this idea of holding on to it, probably because you have your happiness attached to them. Final clarifier for the Sun is the Ace of Pentacles. This is a new physical opportunity presenting itself. It's not an idea or a concept. This is a physical thing that I can touch presenting itself here. That is tied directly to the Justice card, pointing out the fact that there's something unfair and unjust about this new opportunity, this new physical opportunity. It's in the same row with the Three of Swords, heartbreak and sadness from a third energy. That is your energy in this connection for October 2025. Virgo, let's scoot this over. Yeah, see, we've got this period of time going by where you're probably waiting on forward movement to happen. But this could also represent the seeds were planted on this birth of something new, on this third energy, and taking this blind leap of faith. Here's the seed right here, the seed of abundance, the physical thing showing up. There's probably been a period of time since that has occurred, and there's this lag time until there's able to be forward movement on it. But then I get that Seven of Swords again, the lying, deception, sneaking around, trying to get away with something, cheating, crazy, like very fast forward movement that I didn't think through first, impulsive, reckless. And then here's your intuition trying to flag you down and tell you something about it. But then the internal conflict about it. This internal conflict feels to me like the conflict between what I want versus what I internally know. They're probably butting heads or pulling in opposite directions. Your person's energy, Virgo, the very first card is their most important card. We get the High Priestess again. So I have it out here in both decks now. Central for your person's energy in October 2025 is Death, and their final card is the Knight of Pentacles. We just talked about this High Priestess, she who knows. It's the intuition, the gut feelings, the signs, the synchronicities, a dream that has a message in it. It's some form of internal knowing where I don't have actual proof, actual evidence. I have no facts to support it. I just know. Like I said, that's very hard for a lot of people to trust it because it requires you to actually trust yourself in order to listen to that. Even people that I do a lot of personal readings, and even people that will tell me right to my face, I do trust myself. I do trust my intuition. But, and there's always a but behind that. And it's like, but I don't have the proof. I don't have the facts. This isn't a court of law. You don't have to have facts beyond a reasonable doubt. When you know, you know. Just the fact that your intuition is telling you something is proof positive that there's something to it. Tell me about this High Priestess. Why is that the very first card for Virgo's person of interest here in October 2025? Okay. Yep. Underlying that High Priestess, Queen of Pentacles. So there's that wife energy again. This is the one half of the equation that builds this Ten of Pentacles. I saw this on your side. So I don't know if you're married to this person or if you just believed that that's where it was going to go, that they're going to build their life around you and that you're going to be the centerpiece of the home and the family. But there's some element of truth behind you here. And your intuition is what I'm clarifying. I realize that that is on their side of the table, but that's your intuition telling you something about them. Yeah, the truth, what's behind the truth? The Knight of Wands, the player, the person who tells you everything you want to hear in order to get what they want. But then they're also running that same game somewhere else and running back and forth between two people, taking all this passion-driven action here. And I don't know if you had actual facts to support that. It's here in the energy. There's a recognition tied directly to that lying and cheating and deception type energy and the reckless behavior. And your intuition is sitting right beside it there too. So I feel like your intuition has been working overtime telling you what's going on, but it's not what you want to hear. And I totally understand that. I wouldn't want to hear that either. In fact, I have fallen into that exact trap myself before, which is how I can spot it. It's how I understand it. It's how I know what it feels like. When I clarify the High Priestess, there's the Ten of Cups again, and the Seven of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. I've already talked about the Ten of Cups. Most people hate it when I talk about the Ten of Cups because what they want me to say is, oh, this is the happily ever after. You two were meant to be together. But your intuition knows better than that, or you wouldn't be here watching a tarot reading about your relationship. This is more often than anything the idealized point of view. In other words, I want this Ten of Cups so bad that I'm choosing to look at my relationship as if it were the Ten of Cups. I'm looking at it for how I want it to be instead of how it actually is. We've seen that Sword of Truth more than once here. Tied to that Ten of Cups, also part of what's clarifying the intuition here is the Seven of Wands, Leo energy. This is defensive energy. It's defending my position, defending my stance, defending and fighting to protect something I believe in, something that's important to me, something that I desire. It's a wand energy. Very defensive energy. There's two defensive energies in the deck. Both of them are out here. Seven of Wands, Nine of Wands. This Nine of Wands is sitting right beside happiness for you. And now we've got the Seven of Wands, like the fighting to defend and protect this thing that I believe in, which is the Ten of Cups. Wouldn't surprise me if some of the stuff that I've said is triggering for you, or if not you personally, probably other Virgos that watch this reading after you are probably going to get triggered and flame me in the comments, which is fine, because I'm not really here to validate someone's fantasy, which is what this card is. I'm here to get people the truth and the clarity that they need so they can make the decisions that are in their own best interest. Speaking of decisions, in tarot, twos represent choices, decisions. The High Priestess, which is out here in both decks, is the two of the major arcana. So she rules over the twos of the four suits. She rules over the decisions. And your intuition is telling you something about the Ten of Cups. It's telling you something. And this is the defensiveness about that. Probably trying to protect the idealized point of view of being able to continue looking at this the way that I want it to be. Another thing that is screaming at me now that I see a lot of is they'll have this fantasy in mind, and they're so desperate for it to be true, and they're so defensive and protective of that fantasy that they will start to label it as, no, but I'm being guided to it. My intuition told me that they're the one. And like they view this card as if it is some magic thing in the sky where like the universe is trying to guide you towards some specific person. And they'll label this as like, my intuition is pulling me in that direction, when that's not really what's happening at all. A lot of people can't tell the difference between what's my intuition versus that fear voice in the back of my head, and they'll get the two mixed up. And then another big group of people can't tell the difference between what's my real intuition versus the fantasy voice in my head, which is how you get this defensive, protective energy around the fantasy here. Even directly across it right here, like the reality of the situation isn't Ten of Cups, it's Nine of Cups, emotionally by myself. Across the aisle from this defensive, I want to protect it energy is the Four of Pentacles, holding on to it for dear life and refusing to let go of it, even in the face of the foolish, reckless behavior and the birth of something new. It doesn't, that's like someone is ignoring the facts that are in front of them, which is where this internal conflict is coming from. The conflict between she who knows the truth. This is about facing the truth. This Queen of Swords is Libra energy. It's about facing the truth, speaking the truth, and then cutting off the thing or the person that isn't in your best interest anymore. I saw the Seven of Cups here in the overall energy, right behind this emotionally detaching and then physically walking away energy with the Three of Swords, heartbreak and sadness. Notice how she has her head above the clouds. She's above that big cloud of smoke that's in the Seven of Cups, the thing that's obscuring your vision, the thing that's clouding your judgment. She's above that. She can see clearly what's going on. She's about facing the truth. Now, also, I'll get her a lot when we have this difficult conversation where the truth is getting spoken, and after that there's usually some sort of a severing that takes place, like someone gets cut off and they're not here anymore. I'll get the Seven of Wands with that when someone is going, no, it's not me, I'm not doing that. So I don't know if this is at some point it went from being an intuitive thing where you could feel that something was wrong to now we got to the spot where maybe the sun came out and it got illuminated, it got exposed and you could see it. And now you see the truth and you speak the truth and the other person's going, no, I wasn't doing that. Could be either of those things. This could just be you being defensive about the truth and the truth that maybe that I'm speaking right now. I hope I'm not offending you with what I'm saying, but like I said, I have to tell you the truth. Otherwise, how can I help you? If I'm going to be I would just be part of the problem if I sugarcoat this dog turd and tell you it's a Snickers bar. If I blow smoke up your ass like this Seven of Cups and try to twist the meanings of all the cards around to force it to be this happy fairy tale ending because that's what someone wants to hear, it's not my job to figure out what people want to hear and then twist everything around to fit that. It's my job to get you the truth so you can face the truth and so you can make the decisions that are in your own best interest. And I think there is definitely a piece of you that knows what I'm saying is true, even if you can't prove it. It's possible that you did see the truth for real, because I do have recognition about the Seven of Swords, the lying and the cheating and the deception. Either way, central to your person's energy, Virgo, is the Death card, Scorpio's major arcana card. This is an ending. It's something dying. And that ending has a painful transition period following it, a painful transformation period following it. Tell me about death, please. Why is that the central card here for Virgo's person of interest here in October 2025? Okay, let's get one more. What is this death card trying to tell us, please? Come here. Underlying death, Queen of Pentacles. Again, this is wife energy. It's Capricorn energy. This could very easily be you. It's a female earth sign. This is wife, centerpiece of the home and the family, and there's some sort of a death to that idea. Right behind that, we have the Five of Cups, more Scorpio energy. This is sadness and remorse about the past. The person's wearing all black. They're in mourning. Their head is hanging down. They've got like sad, depressed body language. And they're looking at these three cups that have been spilled. That represents the togetherness. Being together has been spilled. This represents all the love and emotions and all the time, effort, and energy that's been spilled and wasted. But there's still two upright cups behind them, which can represent that I still feel this connection, and still feeling it is what keeps me focused on the spillage of it. This is about, at its core, whatever a person focuses on literally dictates to them what emotions they feel. So here they're focused on the past and they're feeling whatever they felt in the past. They're focused on this thing that they've lost, so they're feeling the loss of it. They're focused on this thing that's missing from their life now, and they're feeling that gap in their life. When there are things in the back that they could turn around and put their focus on and get back to their own happiness if they choose to do that. The difficult piece about this is three cups are bigger than two cups. This has more weight to it. So it takes effort. It takes like conscious choice to shift focus, to get away from looking at this thing that I've lost, to turn around and look at what I could still be happy about. Now, the other thing that this can represent with the three cups is it can represent the third party is what came in and spilled everything. It could, the two cups in the background can represent that there is still another connection looming in the background. That could be what killed everything here. Right behind that is the Five of Swords. This is Aquarius energy. Again, fives are conflict. This is, sometimes it's a big fight that ends everything. Most of the time, this is a betrayal taking place. Sometimes this is a person like here who has this winning at all cost mentality. Like, I'm going to get what I want, period. If you have to get hurt in order for me to get what I want, well, sorry about your luck, because I'm going to get what I want. So collateral damage is fine. This at its core is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event, which is, it's taken me back to this 10 of Cups again. So not only, if you really had the 10 of Cups with this person, not only would you not be here watching a tarot love reading, you damn sure wouldn't have all this sadness and remorse and regrets about it. You damn sure wouldn't have betrayal and mental and psychological pain. You damn sure wouldn't have death. You damn sure wouldn't have this Five of Pentacles that I'm going to get to in a second. You damn sure wouldn't have the Seven of Swords lying and cheating and deception here in the shared energy. You wouldn't have an internal conflict about what you want. You wouldn't have your intuition screaming at you, trying to get your attention about something. You wouldn't have the birth of something new and the unfairness of that. You wouldn't be clinging to something and refusing to let go of it because you have all of your happiness attached to it. In the 10 of Cups, you don't have your happiness attached to the other person. You're choosing to pour yourself into them, and they are also choosing to pour themselves into you. It's not one-sided like that. You wouldn't have the Three of Swords. So most of the cards that are out here, you would not actually have if you legitimately had the 10 of Cups. And I know that's, the idea of that is worth protecting and defending. And I'm not trying to say whatsoever that true love doesn't exist, because it absolutely does. I'm just saying that this isn't that. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel the same. And all of the stuff that I'm seeing doesn't add up with that. Now, when I clarify death, I get the Six of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. The Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. It's the card of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, the good old days, the way things used to be between the two of you. It represents a deep emotional connection. It represents the history between the two of you. It can also represent something from the past coming back up again, something from the past happening again, or even someone from the past showing back up. That could be the thing that killed it. This could just be the reminiscing about it. Next, I have this Five of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy. This is abandonment. This is being cast aside, being left out in the cold, being discarded, being walked away from. This is a breakup energy. And it's sitting right beside this Seven of Wands, this defensiveness, this person trying to defend and protect what they want, which apparently is a breakup. Even though there is quite a bit of history to this connection, it has still come to an end. And of course, there's going to be a painful transition period after that, especially if you don't want to let go of it, especially if you have all of your happiness tied to that. The final clarifier for death is the Hanged Man. This is Pisces energy. We've seen it already. Progress is halted. There is no forward movement. This thing is dead, and it's not going to move forward. Like I said, though, the Hanged Man is hanging upside down because he's looking at things from a different perspective. It's not my fault that this is dead. So this can be the blame game. This could be the problem is outside of me. It's not me. It's something out here's fault. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe that's why I had to detach from you and walk away and go see the other options and cause this heartbreaking thing. Now, again, don't take that the wrong way, because I am definitely not saying this is your fault. It is very clearly this person's fault. I'm just kind of like talking from their perspective here. They don't see it that way. They see it as it's something else's fault and I'm completely absolved of wrongdoing here. But this, either way, isn't moving. And then I've got she who knows the truth, which is you, seeing that, looking at this being stuck, and looking at this other person probably blaming everything but themselves, being very defensive about it. Final card in your person's energy, Virgo, is the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight in the deck. This is very slow, monotonous, frustrating, make you want to pull your hair out kind of an energy. This can indicate this person wants something like so bad they wanted it yesterday, but they're getting this slow drip. The other thing this can represent is a person who knows what they're supposed to do, but they don't do it for some reason. Or even a person who knows what they're not supposed to do, and they do it anyway. Clearly, you're not supposed to lie and cheat and sneak around and be deceptive. Clearly, you're not. But they did that. They did it, probably didn't even think about it. They just did it and didn't think about it until it's too late. And I think you could feel it when that happened. Let me see what's going on with this Knight of Pentacles. Why is that the final card here for Virgo's person? Underlying that Knight of Pentacles energy, the Emperor. This is the Aries Major Arcana card. This is an energy of control. It's about taking control, taking charge of a situation. This is someone who has all the tools, abilities, and resources to put together a plan to get what they want, and then execute that plan to get what they want. This is the person who makes the rules, who calls the shots, who's running the show, who sets the boundaries on things. Central for your energy is that boundary, that barrier that's in the way, the thing that's blocking this here. This person is running the show, and they're doing things that they know they're not supposed to do, and that's what has killed this connection. And I think that you could feel it when they were doing things that they weren't supposed to do. The problem was you were probably so attached to the idea or the idealized view of how you want this to be versus the truth and the facts of the matter of how it is. I think that went a long way in helping them maintain control here. Right behind that, we have the Four of Swords. This is Libra energy, taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break, choosing to go inside and do some thinking about something. This is a calm the mind down, stabilize the mind kind of an energy. Now, when I clarify this Knight of Pentacles, I get Temperance, the Eight of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. Temperance is the Sagittarius Major Arcana card. This is sometimes patience. This would be about not being in a big hurry, which maybe they weren't in a big hurry. We've got that Knight of Pentacles, the very slow drip. I could have sworn I saw something over here that referenced that. Here it is, this Seven of Pentacles. This big long period of time from when the seeds were planted on something until I got recognized for the lying and the cheating and the deception and this risky, impulsive decision making. I think you felt it way sooner than you actually had the facts to support it. So this could just mean that they weren't in a big hurry because, damn it, I'm running this thing. I'm going to get what I want no matter what, and I'm perfectly willing for this to be like a pause and nice and slow and stable movement here. The thing that about this card is it shows up when something is very dramatically out of whack. It's out of balance, and this is a recalibration kind of an energy. So your person needs to recalibrate. There needs to be a recalibration about their control. there needs to be a recalibration about them doing stuff that they know damn well they're not supposed to do. There's the past is sitting next to it. So there could be history here, a history of something needing to be recalibrated, but maybe they don't feel like there's anything that needs recalibrated here. Maybe I'm in control is what they think. Next, I get the Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. This is thinking about something over and over and over again on this repeating loop in your mind, or them doing that, and not being sure what's the safe step to take here, what's the correct move to make. I don't want to make a mistake and step in the wrong spot, but I'm not sure what to do, so I'm grinding in circles trying to figure it out. This is a really overthinking kind of an energy about something that's needing recalibrated. So they got like a way overactive mind on something here. They're stuck in the loop grinding on something. It looks like the thing that they're grinding on, and sitting right beside it, is this breakup, this abandonment, this discarding you and breaking up, and then this defensive energy. This could be them going in circles about how do I defend my position and defend myself here and still be able to get this breakup here. Another thing that temperance can mean is it's about taking these two things and combining them together to make something new. And I'm stuck in the loop grinding on blending myself together with something. I do have like the foolish risk taking outside of the connection and the birth of something new here. And that birth of something new is tied to justice, something unfair. This blind leap of faith on a new beginning is tied to the Three of Swords, this heartbreak and sadness from a third energy. And I've got them emotionally detaching and walking away, options and choices, and the heartbreak and sadness from the third energy. I think there was a big long period of time where they were trying to figure out, how do I defend and block this off so I can break up and move forward here. After this Eight of Swords, I get the Ten of Swords, more Gemini energy. This is a swift, painful ending. It's sometimes an ending that you didn't see coming, which is why the swords are in your back. If you would have seen it coming, they'd be in your front. Sometimes this is an ending in betrayal, hence the swords in the back, getting stabbed in the back and betrayed. So there's this grinding on it, on how to end it. There's this stuck energy right beside ending it. Like, I'm stuck on ending it. It's not my fault that it's ending it. Even though there's this Queen of Swords, like she who sees the truth, faces the truth, speaks the truth, and then cuts off this thing or this person that isn't in my best interest anymore. Stops me from being in control. Stops me from being able to just rush off and do whatever I want whenever I want. Man, oh man, oh man. This Five of Wands, that's the shared energy, feels like you two are pulling in different directions. They're trying to go in a whole different way than you're trying to go. And there's this detaching and walking away here. Again, like, this is bringing me back to the advice for you. For them, this is they detached and walked away because they had to go see if the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. And for you, this is letting you know that if you're honest with yourself and you take a good, like, zoomed out, emotionally detached, and just look at the truth and the facts of the matter, just look at what your intuition has been telling you this whole time. And I don't mean the fantasy voice in your head. I mean your actual intuition, what it's been telling you. Eight Cups is the best you're ever going to get from this person because that's the best they're capable of giving you. It doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It just means if you want to actually be happy and get your ninth cup and the real 10 of Cups, not the version of it that you want to defend, that you have convinced yourself you had with this person. If you want the real thing, you ain't going to get it with them. And this is about recognizing that. Recognizing that they've lied and they've snuck around and they've taken crazy, stupid risks that they don't think through first. They're impulsive and reckless. You have to recognize that and then make the conscious, difficult decision to walk away from this, to go down a brand new path in search of your actual ninth cup. Your ninth cup is inside of you. It's not outside of you. They can't give you that. Only you can give that to yourself.